I know I'm already past 3 o'clock. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful island of Hawaii. Yay!
Yay!
Hooray!
Now,
So there's this flow of energy. It's a flow of feelings. There's like all these different feelings and perceptions arising. Like from the moment you wake up in the morning, you're doing it in your sleep too, but you might not remember it. But you're always like working. Your mind's always working. It's like doing this thing where it's just like making up a bunch of stories, and there's a bunch of energy fluctuations going on. And that's one thing I love about yoga, because there's an intentional focus on the breath. In yoga, yin or anything, you are taking a deep breath and your attention stays on the breath. And sometimes, I do like a 2-hour practice and attention stay on the breath the whole time. But it doesn't stay on the breath the whole time. That's the intention. It goes like that. And it's not like it's anything bad or wrong. You just watch it. It's like, whoa, there's a lot going on here. And, since your intention is to bring your attention to the breath, and in the moment that translates to willingness, right? It's willingness to put your attention on the breath rather than the story that's arising in your mind. See, that's what I love about it. It's just like a deep breath. And it occurred to me that, you're either getting a deep breath or you're laughing. Otherwise, you're feeling anxious.
Well, that's what creates the shallow breath.
That's what because here's the thing. The shallow breath is correlated with feeling. It's with the feeling. They go together. So it's like when your attention is on the breath over a period of time, your breath naturally gets deeper. When your attention is on having fun right here in the moment and not trying to get something for the future or evaluating what you have, your attention, your attention, your willingness to put your attention on the feeling sensation, for instance, instead of the thought. Or you can look at it like this: the feeling sensation and the thoughts are just arising, and it's all a beautiful flow. It's just a flow of information. It's not material. It's not material.
Well, it's like the Vipassana meditation, where you just allow the stillness to divulge whatever sensations come along, just passively aware of. And then I've done the holotropic breath work, where you do the deep breathing and you have a facilitator, and then it's like you enter into a whole new dimension. It's like taking DMT or something.
I knew that I was totally on to something awesome when it was right after I had Braun, and I was always feeling super anxious, but like scared, like really like afraid. And because the anxiety, I took it to mean that something was wrong in my life or something was wrong in the world. So I would feel really afraid and I would act afraid. When you're afraid, you act erratic. So I would act afraid too. I'd be mean to people. I'd be mean to people on the phone. Have you been mean to people on the phone before, Lori? Like customer service reps? Like just totally demeaning toward them.
The only people I'm demeaning to was my kids when they were growing up. I wish I had your book back then. And Peter.
Well, see how your tone just changed right there?
The guilt.
Yeah, that's making it real. Nothing happened.
Right. Yep.
You're just making that up right now. It's a projection from right now to bring up guilt.
Yep.
And you can see that it's not funny to you yet because your voice changes.
You're right.
But it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. You know, it's just like you're aware of that. It's like, oh, isn't that funny?
Mhm. I know when I think about the boys, if I had had your book, but I wasn't ready for it, obviously.
Well, you're awesome. I got that to say about you.
Aw.
Let's go live on Facebook. You guys want to? That's
Yeah.
all.
Hey, Bob. Jerry wanted to see your hat. I did too.
Oh, my hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Show me
What's
your
up?
hat while I do this.
My tie-dye
I'll share it on my timeline.
hat.
Like a camo, only black and white.
Maybe take it off and put it toward the thing, toward the camera.
Oh.
It's just
Cool.
camouflage.
That, yeah, but black and white
Oh,
instead of green.
Tie-
Cool.
Looks like dappled light shadows from a tree or something.
That's rad.
I got to
Okay,
cover up my
Facebook.
mop. No one can give me wants to give me a haircut.
Oh, if I was there, I'd cut it for you.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, Lori's a hairdresser. Isn't that
Oh,
cute?
shucks. Too bad you can't give me a virtual haircut.
Virtual, wouldn't that be nice?
Say something there, and then put a title: Wisdom Dialogues. Ooh, I think that's right. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm gonna go live.
Gabby and her mom and I were talking today about intention.
Okay, well, hold on just a second. Let's see if it goes to a thing where it's live, and then we'll go on that.
Webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. That's what it says.
Woohoo! We're on Facebook. Okay, Lori, go ahead with
We
that.
were talking about intention.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have intentions, because she had some big yesterday, big stuff going on. Oh,
Okay.
Who is the intender?
Well, that's just automatic. That's just automatic. The intention arises. Is it fun for you? You know? Just have fun.
Intentions and affirmations and all that.
Okay, intention is like this. What I was referring to is say you're having a yoga class and you're like, wow, I really want to go deep today and, you know, get in touch with my spirit. You know, that's the thought that comes across your mind, and you get really excited about that. And then an intention arises that you're going to do your best to stay focused on your breath. Just for fun.
That's the intention. Okay, yep. And if it doesn't happen, that's fun too.
Yes, that's exactly right. Exactly. Because here's the thing, and this is fun. When your intention in yoga is to focus on the breath, more likely than not, you're going to be tripping out about how much you lose focus on the breath, and it's fun.
Well, when I meditate, that's what happens.
Sure. Isn't it fun, though?
It's like I'm being dragged off in a story. I have to bring it back.
Well, it's like it could be so much more playful than that, because you really are not having to bring it back. You only think you are having to bring it back, like as if you have to do something. For you, you just see it and you like laugh at it. It's playful.
Yeah, so like E. Aliakala Hugh Len, the guy that does the Zero Limits, the self-identity Ho'oponopono, he says there's the three modes of being. One is you're a victim of circumstances. Two, you're the creator of your circumstance, where you use visualization and intention. And three, when you're a servant of the divine, and there you receive divine inspirations, you're guided by the voice of God, divine impartations, that you are the servant of. And so you don't form your own ideas or intentions. You forget about all that. You're not creating your reality. The divine spirit is praying and creating through you.
Mm.
So intention, even the intention to stay focused on the breath, for instance, it's just like a device. That's all. It's like a tool of the mind, and it plays out automatically. See, it plays out automatically. It goes off of your feeling. It goes off of your relationship with it. So you don't have any intentions.
Okay, right.
It all comes down to willingness. So do you see how that pointing is? When you make the intention, intention arises, see, and you make the intention in your mind. You don't really make it, you don't really have an intention. You have a perception that you have an intention. Let's say it like that.
Okay.
You have a perception that you have an intention. If that feels exciting for you, then it's just going to play out.
Mm.
If it doesn't feel exciting for you, you're going to be in a battle with it and yourself. It's still just going to play out, but it's going to seem like you did a bunch of work.
Mm. Hmm.
So it's not like intentions are bad. They're going to arise.
Well, Peter and I found a spot on the river here that we really would love to live at. And we took a picture of it. We go visit it. It's just a piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took a picture and developed it, and we're going to put it on our vision board.
How cute. That is so sweet.
The intention is we want to live there.
What fun.
Mm-hmm. We'll watch it play out.
Yeah, it's just, and see, the thing is, you don't really want to live there. And when you don't really want to live there, the intention can play out playfully. And that's exactly the detachment, the kind of detachment that you need for your life to, show you that it's just in flow and there's nothing for you to do.
Mm.
It's like, you hear of people that are so attached to what they think they want that when life is actually moving them toward what they want, they don't know. They don't feel it. They don't feel the pull. They don't feel the call. You're getting cues in the spirit all day long. And you sense those cues through your body's energy field. You're constantly getting, there's so much information in the moment. It's amazing. You're taking in so much information through these body senses and making a brain's interpretation of it. It's a trip. There's so much going on. You don't need a bunch of stimulation. The reason that people get to where there's needing a bunch of stimulation is because thinking there's nothing going on here, but there's so much. There's so many thoughts and so many feelings. And it's just like all passing and changing so quickly. And it's showing you, it's revealing to you what is serving you best, which, in what is serving your spirit, most uplifting and supportive of your spirit and awakening your mind. And, that equals that easefulness in the day. You don't have to have a bunch of ideas about who you need to be or anything like that, because you can feel it. What it's time to do or not do. And if you're just watching, like, especially if you're watching your breath, and you've heard me say this before, that your breath always matches your thought pattern and your feeling. The breath, thought pattern, feeling. So if you're just randomly throughout the day, even just paying attention to where your breath is, where is it going? You know, the first time I realized that, I think I started to talk about this earlier, I was totally on to something. Right after I had Braun, I had this book or video or something, I don't even remember what it was, but it was for breathing. And I was laying down and I was doing some breathing. It was just like light and relaxed, and seeing how deep it goes. And it started to go into the belly, and I found out that's how a baby breathes, all the way to the belly, you know. Right. Well, all the way down, like, you know, like in yoga, we play around a lot with bringing the breath to the pelvic floor until you could actually feel the pelvic floor kind of like ballooning from the breath. And, you know, if you're watching your breath, when your breath is allowed to go all the way down there and the pelvic floor is relaxed and you balloon, you're feeling very calm and relaxed. And you're having some nice, you know, and you can see how smooth your breath is, smooth or rough along the column. And you'll see, you know, for yourself that it correlates with the feeling in a breath pattern. He's back here.
Wow, look at that hard body.
Isn't he sweet?
Yeah, boy, I can tell he's working out.
He's just a boy. He plays. He goes to the beach and stuff. Skimboarding. Right, Blaze?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's this Joel Goldsmith tape that I listen to most every day, The Inner Kingdom, because the kingdom is within, to go within. And so he talks about that the secret to the spiritual life is hearing the still small voice, to get impartations from God, to be spoken to and to feel the presence and direction of God. And says the still small voice is speaking nonstop, 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And the grace of God is being sent to you, broadcast to you, delivered to you 24 hours a day. But you are missing out on the grace of God by not being in inner attunement to that, to taking some time throughout the day to just stop your activity and close your eyes and say, thank you, Father. The Father lives within me. And to have a remembrance, to go within, to get an inner attunement to that source.
And you know, it's as much as it appeals to you. Really, it's as much as it appeals to you. It's not like you need to do anything different. You're just watching to see when it appeals to you and when it doesn't. And you'll start to get some really good insight about yourself. About, wow, why doesn't it appeal to me? And you'll start to see, you know, your guide will show you if you're open to it. As you're open to it, you'll be shown. And it's not like it's a you ought to. You know, because when you get that feeling, I was talking about this with my harp teacher today, because she was telling me she likes to show total acceptance when you don't practice your harp. When you don't practice your harp, even if you didn't practice all week, she likes to show total acceptance for it, you know, because it's like, that's how people quit playing the harp, if they're quit playing it at all. You know what I mean? She's just like, well, let's make this lesson your practice. It's perfect. You know, and then the person's like ease up on themselves. And then, you know, if they're drawn to play the harp, they're just going to be playing it for fun. They love it. They play it. They're having fun. They don't have to do any practice for the lesson. I don't have to do any practice between lessons. You know,
spontaneous inspiration.
Yeah, you just get inspired and you go.
You don't want to, yeah. If it happens, it happens.
That's another thing I've been playing with a lot more. It's so fun. My harp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big one or the little one?
The bigger one.
So it's all fixed.
I didn't know that Gail plays too. I didn't know that she's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gail is the one who introduced me to the harp.
She said, yeah.
Yeah, she just like put it on me and I was touching it. She was like, it was so odd because you didn't know how to touch it at all. And now it's like so fun. There's so much stuff I can play. I love it.
Mhm, mhm.
Yay. So we're talking about being moved from within today. Apparently, we just kind of like fell right into that.
Hmm.
It was a perfect example.
Fell to within.
You're just kind of like stumbling
Mhm.
in, you know, but in a relaxed way. It's like, whoa, because you don't know where you're going. You don't know when you're going. You don't know what you're doing. You know, you're just kind of like, but you are always going to be moved in a way that resonates with your feeling,
Hmm.
your predominant feeling. So let's say you get a feeling of fear. You know, I've heard people tell me some pretty fearful tales, you know, lately. Well, what about if they do this?
Uh,
What about if they do this? And it's like it's all the same. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening, and this world isn't something to attain. It isn't something to attain, the world. That means it doesn't matter what arises. It's a perception, and it's meant for awakening the mind. So it just gets used for what it is. So it doesn't matter. It's not like that's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. It doesn't really happen, and it doesn't really matter. And here's the thing too: when you're feeling super fearful about something, you know you're putting out a vibration. You can say it's like a call. Let's say it's like a sound, attracts a like sound, and you know your body image is also based in sound, and so it's dancing to that music. Aloha. It's dancing to that music within.
hmm.
You consider the body like a dancer to the music within. So you get really fearful feeling, and if you're willing to really, you know, notice what's going on. Someone's calling.
Sounds like a Skype call.
Would you go take that and let her know I'm in Wisdom Dialogues and she can come over? Thank you.
Hello, Akea.
What was I saying? So the body is kind of like a dancer to this music that's resonant with a feeling and a thought and a breath. So it's kind of like being moved along. So there's a when there's a feeling like a fearful feeling, if you're willing to put your attention on, you know, the truth, you can say, you'll be able to see this playing out. You'll be able to see that it's just a feeling in the body, accompaniment with the breath, thoughts. It's like this whole show is being put on. It's like an animated show, and the body's just moving according to that music. Like there's a conductor, the whole thing. And you know, if you consider it like that, it really is just in the moment. It's not based on concepts of what you should be doing. There may be some concepts set up, like, you know, you have, say you have a certain amount of conditioning in a certain thing, like for me, yoga. So it's like there's certain ideas of how a pose is supposed to feel and stuff like that. But even that, you know, you just like look past it, and let them just fall. They come and they go. They come and they go, these ideas. So like never having a position on an idea, never holding a position on an idea. It can always be, because it's always, because of the attention is on the flow of energy, the flow of the feeling. this whole act that's coming out, this whole body that seems to be doing stuff and saying stuff, it's coming out of it, this sound energy vibration.
I think about when years ago when you said all of a sudden this energy would just come over you. You'd be like, whoa, where'd that come from? And so, and then that's, if you're not aware of that, then the stories start coming about that feeling.
That's right. Those feelings that I was sensing had been coming the whole time. And when I first started to become aware of the feelings, they were so intense. It was amazing. But what I was habitually doing before I started practicing, just noticing how it felt, it was reacting. So like taking it out on someone in my family, like someone did it wrong, or something screwed up, or, you know, I told you I would have conversations with people on the phone and tell them how screwed up they are, you know, like on customer service people and stuff like that.
I can't picture you doing that.
Oh my goodness, it was so funny. I got to the point where I was like so bitchy. I kind of like was hating on myself for it. I was like, gosh, it was like so bitchy. But then I would like get caught up in it again. I just get so bitchy again.
I'm too scared to be bitchy, I think.
That's great.
Someone, a bigger bitch will bitch back at you.
Yeah.
Right?
But when you're you know, you're used to feeling good, and you know, I told you about how there's these two sides, like the love side and the fear side, as far as feelings goes. Abraham Hicks talks about that too. They have some kind of scale, and like there's a middle point there. It's like really defined. You could tell the difference between you, whether you feel joyful, you know, on the joyful love side, like it's gratitude, you know, it's like it's a sense of being loved, you know. Yeah, and the other side is like all those negative kind feelings, you know, like where it just feels a little bit icky. And I noticed in yoga this morning, you know, I was just right in the beginning of it, feeling like something's wrong. And I'm like, oh, how awesome. And just paying attention to that and watching, and it flows, and you can see it just like it just goes away. It just comes right up and goes away. Whatever it was, I could see the thought. I don't even remember what it is right now, but I could see the thought. There were two different ones. I could see the thought, and it's automatically, when the attention goes like, oh, good, and on the breath, it gets released. That thought ends up having no power, because you're teaching your mind that that thought is not true. It's not relevant. It's not relevant to you.
So at this point, you don't even laugh at it.
Well, there's always laughter going on, and I'm in touch with it, even if there's not an outside laugh. Even if there's not like a sound coming out of my mouth, you know, there's always being in touch with that too, you know. It's like, but this is a moving thing, because it's in motion. It's in motion. That's why they call it emotion. And
energy and motion.
Yeah, and really there's only two sides. You know, we can name all these different emotions, but really there's only two sides. So, yeah, just love and fear. And so when you're watching the motion of it, when you're watching it move, you're automatically going to be motivated toward more on the love side. And when you're motivated like that, it's automatically it's getting released. If you're willing to have it released, it's released. That's it.
Yeah.
It's released in the moment, and that's why the moment is an opportunity.
Magic moment.
And it's like there's lots of opportunities, you know, in the same second. Okay. You know, like, it's like, yeah. But if you're paying attention to how that energy is moving through your senses, let's say, That's another way to say body's energy field. So the senses, what's
Right.
being sensed.
Right.
You know, as you're watching that motion, you're watching that how it's moving. It's always going to go back in your favor because you're watching. It just gets moved back into your favor, which is love, of course.
Right.
People tell me, shouldn't I feel the fear feelings? And it's like, yes, don't ignore them. I'm not saying to ignore them. You know, it's like you notice that you don't want it. You're aware you don't want that one. And when you're aware you don't want it, you're not making it true. You're not making the thought true. Do you see?
You don't buy into it.
Yeah. See, people don't even consider, is that thought true? Oh, they just consider, oh shit, this sucks. If it sucks, the thought isn't true. That's what's awesome. If it sucks, the thought isn't true. So body's energy field, the shortness of breath that goes along with it, the discomfort that goes along with it. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. What a fun message to see.
Well, you paused for a good bit, and then you caught up. Your voice went really, really fast and caught up.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that.
There was something that happened. I've been sitting here trying to figure it out. I saw the thoughts wanting to keep the momentum going of the negative. Yeah. And I was like, that made me laugh.
Yeah. And when you laugh, that's a deep breath. If you physically laugh, that is a deep breath. Because you notice if you get a really deep laugh down to your belly,
Yeah.
it pushes all the air out. And then the next thing you know, it's a deep breath.
Right. It's true. It contracts.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as crying.
It is.
Well, it's the same when you cry. There's that same.
Cry really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be just the opposite.
What do you mean?
Like it's like you're crying and it's just the opposite of laughing.
Right, but it's the same
It's really
in
close.
your body.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. That's what I mean. It's like the energetic is really close.
Yeah. Yeah.
About tears have different chemical makeup depending on if you're crying like for joy or you're crying for sorrow or you're laughing so hard, you know, tears are coming out that the chemical nature of your tears are different for each emotion.
What a fun symbol.
Yeah.
Somebody, was it you that somebody said, why do I cry when there's lots of joy? Oh, it was an Abraham Hicks video. And she said it's because you weren't ready for that much joy to be felt. So there's tears or something like that.
Yeah, I know that way.
Yeah.
I've had that with sex too.
I have too.
So much pleasure there's tears.
Yes, I started crying. Yes, that's happened to me too. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Tears are the language of the heart. Oh, Jerry, you're so cute. Let's bring Jerry on. He's ready. He's coming to panelist today. We're going to see him and everything.
Hello.
Hey, Jack.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tears are just so beautiful when they flow. And my daughter, she was about 7 or 8. We were doing a seminar together, and I was crying as she was sharing so beautifully. And I said, I don't know why I'm crying. She goes, oh, Daddy, that's because tears are the language of the heart.
Oh, that is so sweet. What a love.
Oh, yeah. So, yay. Good to see everybody. Good to be having fun. Thanks for bringing me on. It's so much fun to be here with you. All the
Mm.
way over here on the East Coast in the center of COVID-19 crisis.
You're in it. You're on the East Coast doing it.
I am. Yeah, we're in Philadelphia.
Oh, how is it?
I don't know. It's really good. It's not much different than usual. Go out for hikes every day, eat good food,
Uh
with the computer. Don't. Oh, it's different. Don't turn on the TV to the news.
Right?
huh. You
Us
don't.
either.
No, no. Although we have been having fun watching. What's the name of that movie? Mad Men. Not a movie. This thing on
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm just watching my parents. It's incredible. It's like what was going on in the early 60s. It was crazy.
Mad Men. I'm gonna put that one down.
Yeah.
We've been watching the OA, and we also watched The Chosen. That's an app. It's about Jesus's life. It's really good.
The Chosen. That sounds good. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put that.
it's an app. It's an app on your phone, and the first season is paid for by somebody else, and when you get done, you pay for the next season. It's like $14.99 to pay for 10 people to watch the next and to help fund the next series, the next bunch that they make.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you can pay for it for 10 people. It's pretty cool, and it's really good. Even Peter liked it.
The Chosen. It's largely supported by Lori.
By people, I was told by somebody else who just loved it, my girlfriend Judy, and then I've shared it all over the place. Everybody loves it.
So this is. So Lynn is on a Zoom call with Hawaii, and she just came downstairs. So Lynn, come on over and say hello. Okay.
A Zoom call. The Big Island too.
On the Big Island, yeah, she's talking with her women's group, and so here she is, getting all loaded up to go on up to the call.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Hi, Hope.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's the women's group?
Oh, it's the Women Within at Shakti's place. Down in, well, it's not now it's on Zoom, so yeah.
How
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Oh, you guys, I have to run back.
That's Lynn. She's always on the line.
Goddesses here, huh?
What was that, Bob?
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm right here.
There you are. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to see you. You are so much fun. You bring so much lighthearted humor.
Well, that's why we're here, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing more serious.
Why else come to the planet Earth?
Right. Mm.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so notes. I'm gonna have what's
To bring your fun to the perception.
Yes.
Bring the fun to the perception. Because the perception is always going to lead to something eventually that you don't want. So just let it be fun. Let it all be fun. It's to show you who you're not. It's to show you who you're not. And you bring the fun and the light to the perception, teaching your mind who you are.
Mm.
And it's super fun.
Yeah, we're here to bring comedy to the tragedy, from tragedy to comedy, that fine line. The guy slips on the banana peel and you laugh, that creative tension that we were talking laughter and crying. It's kind of the same release.
Mhm.
So it's a release of a tension, and it's also like an orgasm. They say laughter is due to the intercourse of orgasm, intercourse of reason and unreason. So like, yeah, crying, laughing, intercourse, orgasm, and all
Hey
kind of.
Bob, who's that? Who's the they? I wanna find out who the they is.
Oh, well, I could use I statements.
what, what is it about the they? What is it? I didn't even catch it.
The they.
They, what is it?
Oh, Bob said they say,
They say.
and I was wondering who they are.
Oh, well, it's just a quote. You know, someone said it.
Or you could say, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Same.
Oh, do you know Alan Cohen?
Yeah.
I can't say I do.
I do. I
I
met
know
it.
his dog. He had a very cute dog.
Well, he teaches about A Course in Miracles.
He does over on Maui.
Yes, and he has been doing a half an hour thing since the beginning of April. He's doing it for the whole month, every day at 3:00 here. So over there, it's
Yeah, he's
9:00 in the morning for you got for
Yeah,
Hawaii.
I haven't seen him for a while, but my recollection is he's pretty serious about that stuff.
Oh, it's so good. Every day it's a really, really good thing he's doing every day. Just a quick
Did he talk about his dog?
No. It's a little piece about Course in Miracles every day. It's a
Yeah. No,
What?
I'm just saying he used to always talk about his dog. His dog was like,
I haven't heard anything about the dog.
probably gone.
Why
He's
are we
like-
talking about this?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Because he
Are we
mentioned
doing wisdom dialogues here, or what are we doing? Some kind of like chitty chat thing?
I wanted to know if you knew him because he talked about when he lived on the Big Island. And I thought he referenced somebody, and I thought he was talking about you. But you don't know him, so. And
I might know him and not even know it.
yeah. Well, he's a Course in Miracles teacher.
He's one of those Course in Miracles people, so of
Oh.
course you should know him.
Oh, I should know him.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
just wondered. if you
Anyways. It's funny how easy it is to get off track. I only am here for 2 hours.
were.
Maybe it seems like a long time to people. Maybe it seems like a long time. But, for me, for those 2 hours, I like to get lots of wisdom dialogues type action in.
Mm.
What's our topic? What was the topic for
If
tonight?
you're into something else, it's not wisdom dialogues.
I don't think there is a topic. It's just how it goes.
It's how it goes. Yes, it's how it
Inner
goes.
attunement, you were saying.
Yeah.
Yes, that was, yeah.
So did you have something for wisdom dialogues, Jared?
No.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you for joining.
I just really enjoying it, and it's such a
Aw.
fresh air to come on here. And oh,
I love you.
I love you so much, and you bring such joy to the world, that at least to my world.
How fun. How fun.
It's great to partake
Thank
of this
you.
space of love together.
It is, and especially being, I don't know, halfway across the world or wherever it is, it's just such great to be able to tune in and connect like this. I mean,
Yeah. I appreciate you. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, relationships is coming to the forefront. Okay? Relationships
Uh-oh.
is totally coming to the forefront right now. What we see is lots of together time. Isn't that right? Lots more together time
Together time with what?
with whoever it is that we live with.
Oh, okay.
Whoever it is that are
We're quarantined
close
with.
Yeah. Whoever it is that we don't see as often in a regular circumstance. Maybe we don't. In my case, it's just the same as always. But everyone is just like the same amount of here. And what I see is these families, people are coming together a lot now, and I've been hearing stories about, wow, my partner's really getting on my nerves and stuff like that, or my roommates or whoever it is that we're kind of in closeness with. And, you know, that's bringing up so many beautiful opportunities. It makes me so happy to hear about stuff like that, because that's where the transformations take place. You know, you start to see, wow, I am not comfortable. I'm not feeling comfortable in my house. What's up with that?
Mm.
and is that what I want? And then watching, what is it? Is it because of that person? Is it because of that other person? Is it really because of that other person? You ask, and you'll get to see, wow, this is showing up as an energy. It's coming, it's like a wave. It's like a wave of information. And when you get that wave of information, you can just let yourself relax with that. Relax with that wave. And then the person doesn't have to be held as, you know, someone that is making you feel a certain way. They don't need to be talked to, but they could be talked to. You don't know. The energy just moves. You don't have to figure it out. That's the main thing. You don't have to figure it out. How do I? Oh gosh, I need to say something. I need to put up my boundaries, something like that. You don't have to. You just keep on letting the flow be the flow. Notice where the thread of bliss is. And you're just always moved in a way that's joyful, playful, fun. And there's no question. There's no questioning it. There's no question about it. It just goes. It just flows. See? So it's not as if you won't say anything. Oh, you could just do anything to hope she just won't say anything. It's not like that. It's that it's welcome whatever it is. Welcome whatever it is, and it's in a flow. It might just pass. Oh, no need to say anything. Or it might not pass, and then it's like, oh, well, here's the deal. It's like, oh, I mean, to me, I don't even know. I don't know what's going to come out. I have no idea. It's just like there's a resting and a relaxing, and I notice in that it's all sweet. It's all sweet and loving and playful.
Well, like you say, it's like like music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a symphony. Like you're playing your part in the orchestra. The conductor is conducting this grand symphony of life, and we just get to jump in and have fun with the rhythm and harmony.
Yeah. Feel the music within. Sense the music within, and notice wherever it's not feeling good.
Discordant note.
Yes, notice wherever it's not feeling good, and it's like when you notice it as something that's projected and not as something that's, and not making it real. You know, a lot of the times there's not even noticing, oh, that's an upset feeling. There's not even noticing, oh, that's an upset feeling. It's just like there's this thought that plays us out like a puppet before there's even noticing that there is an upset feeling. See? But if you notice the upset feelings, all the upset feelings, they're just allowed to fall away, and then it's just a clear communication. The channel is free. The channel is flowing free.
That's what it's like listening to you now. It's kind of like listening to music for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just listening, and as long as I'm not judging it, as long as I'm not like, do I agree with that? Do I disagree with that? I'm just listening to this beautiful music, and it's like a jazz concert. If I got something to chime in and it works, great. And if not, just sit back and enjoy the music.
Yes. Well, for one thing, there's many interpretations of the words. There's many interpretations of the words. You know, it's always a feeling that's being communicated, though. It's always a feeling that's being communicated. So it's like, if there's a willingness to be in joy, that feeling it'll show you. It's kind of like it's kind of like you get these clues of how to allow it, how to allow that you to flow in that direction toward more joy. It's like there's so much in every single instant. There's always a fluctuation. There's always some kind of fluctuation happening. And when you're watching those fluctuations, the fluctuations automatically move toward a lighter vibration, because with your attention on these impurities, I'm going to call it impurities, your energy is automatically uplifted because your attention is on it as an impurity, though. Or you could say, if that word doesn't resonate with you, as an illusion, as a projection, as an ego offering, even, or just as an offering. It's also a gift, you know, whatever it is. If you're seeing it, if it's coming to you and you're seeing it's coming up for you and you're seeing that, just like release that, and then you're going to understand what I'm saying. To understand what I'm saying, you have to have a good feeling.
Well, it's like an alchemy.
Because that's how you understand it. You don't understand it by the words. You understand it like you have to allow that good of a feeling, that the feeling that's being shared. Will you allow that good of a feeling for yourself, despite what kind of interpretation you're making of the words?
Yeah, so it's like an alchemy where you turn the dross into gold, the lead into gold. You turn the tragedy into the comedy. You turn the bad experience into awakening, like you say. You awaken. You're not just possessed, like demonic possession. All of a sudden, you can't control yourself with this rage or terror or
Yes.
fear or sorrow.
Yes, it is. It is like you can liken it to a demonic possession, because thoughts that are against you are attack thoughts. And so if you're being played out by that, it's leading to something you don't want, which, you know, really isn't a worldly thing. It's another reaction. It's another reaction. But the world gets set up for you to get that reaction, right? So it's something that will, it will be used to get that kind of reaction. And it's like, do you want that? Or do you want peace? You can have peace. It's just a matter of making that choice. You know, don't self-evaluate or evaluate others without noticing it. See how I add without noticing it? Because you can't help it. No one can help it. So if you once you start watching yourself, evaluating yourself and others, and you know you don't want it, it's gone. It has no effect. It's when you don't notice that you don't want evaluating, but you're in it anyways, that's where it seems to have effects. But it takes away all of its effects if you're just noticing it for what it is. As it being an offering, and, you know, I like to say, with gratitude. Like, yay, thank you for this fearful thought. It's like, yeah, it's like, yes, I accept this opportunity.
Yeah, well, what you resist persists.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you hear a story, like, you know, I've heard some different stories from people, um, you know, and it sounds like very oppressive, these different stories that I've heard. And they sound very oppressive, but still, like, I hear them and I'm just like, that just doesn't matter. It's like the body isn't serious. Body isn't serious. It's neutral, it's innocent, you can say, but it's like not, it's just not a serious thing. It doesn't need to go on living for one instant longer than is necessary. The life is apparent, the life is a picture. You know, you're not gonna mind when the body dies. You're not gonna mind. You're not gonna mind. You could say you're gonna feel freaking stoked about it. You can say, you know, you're that's what you've been waiting for, you know, and knowing that isn't going to make you into like a death seeking person or something like that. It's how the ego is. It's a draw toward that. The draw is toward that anyways, and there's fear of it. But it's not like you need to go, it's not like you need to even have that experience. No one really needs to have that death thing. It's just that it seems to be happening all around. You know, you get the perception of it, but that doesn't mean that perception has to persist. The reason it persists is because of fear of it. Isn't that great? That's the reason it persists. So it's like, oh, they're going to kill us or something. I don't know. They're going to kill us, or it's going to kill us, or whatever. And you get that sense of fear. Awesome. There's the opportunity. There's the opportunity.
Well, there's the idea that the fear is your survival mechanism. That with fear, you help you to stay alive, and you don't die. You take protective measures, but actually, the fear is what creates the mortality. Without fear, there is no mortality.
Yeah.
You're not a mortal being without fear. When you love, you're eternal. Love is eternal. Love is infinite. It doesn't matter what form you're in an eternal, infinite state of love. The true, in the Bible, it says love is stronger than death. So fear with fear, that turns you into immortal, subjected to sickness and death.
I love it. Okay, I'm reading the Facebook comments now because, oh, Jerry, you're on here. Do you have any messages for Indigo children? Indigo children, you guys are freaking awesome. That's my message to you. Hi, Jerry, that was funny. Okay. OA is excellent. Okay, there's another plug for OA. Laurel and Hardy, I don't know.
Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, yay. Aloha, everyone. I love you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. So there's a sense that, and it's based on the senses, the brain's interpretation, that the body is at one point going to die. So that is being set in motion. The mind sets that in motion. So when you look at the thought, just even the thought that you are going to die, and you look at any kind of upset feeling about that, and you let that upset feeling be resolved, that's resolving the illusion of death. That's not saying that, you know, you're not going to see it at all anywhere anymore because you're willing to resolve it. But anytime you do have the perception of it, you can let it be resolved in you until there is no, you're not capable of perceiving death. And when you when you live like that, you're rewarded right away. You're rewarded in a way that, you know, you feel connected with the spirit. You feel connected and fed with the spirit right in that moment, and joyful. So you're not moved by the things that you perceive on the surface. Your mood, your energy is not moved by that. You could see the energy moving in the body's energy field, but you're not being robbed of your joy. You're not being robbed of your joy through that, stripped of it, you know, when really you gave it away. Nothing comes and takes it from you, but the feeling is you're being robbed of your joy, you know. And it's because you thought that pursuing that thought was safer than getting it reinterpreted, than finding out that it's false. You thought that it would be safer to just follow that fearful thought because the feeling made it seem so real. So you felt it was safer. That's why it's so innocent. When there's a fearful thought, you feel that it's safer there than to let it be reinterpreted. Because if that thought isn't true, then there's nothing to do about it. And there's no use for the ego, see? And since the ego is so afraid of being seen as meaningless, the ego is always going to present to you that you need to follow it. You need to follow the fearful thought. And that's the way it's presented to you, but that's not what's really true. Only the ego is fearful. You're not really capable of having fear. The way it is you're perceiving these energies. You're perceiving these energies kind of like on a screen. It's like a mind projected onto the screen of consciousness. You're perceiving these energies as all, and there's the energy of fear. It's not really touching you. You're having a perception of fear. So it's like kind of like projected to outside of you. And if you're identified with it, it's like, oh no, I'm afraid. Or you might not even notice you're afraid and just be acting out of fear, reacting out of fear. See? So if you know you don't want that feeling and you're going to allow a reinterpretation, you don't have to be played out of an upset feeling.
Yeah, it's like there's this video of this little toddler girl that's in the sunshine, and she looks down and sees her shadow, and all of a sudden she's afraid, and she runs, and the shadow keeps following her, and then she forgets about it and looks again and sees it and tries to run away and stumbles and falls and is in terror to get away from her shadow.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And that's a really good symbol because the shadow, you could say that's like the shadow when you have an upset feeling. Those are your shadow thoughts, so to speak, playing out, you know? So it's like you're trying to run away from those, and there's nothing to run from. It's just a matter of seeing them for what they are. Seeing them as being that shadow. So like it's the same thing like in the analogy Bob just gave. If you're looking at a shadow and you know it's a shadow, it's fine. It's no problem. But if you're looking at a shadow and you think it's something else, it's like, what the fuck? This is scary. You don't want it like that. Doesn't need to be scary for anyone. If anyone has any questions, raise your hand, or you can also message me on Facebook. Ooh, wow. Just got a little bit shook up. Felt good.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Interesting.
It's almost shook up.
So it's not about, trying to see things a certain way, like as in the material world, seeing it as, I don't know, jello or pixelated or anything like that. It's about just allowing more joy. And then, yeah, you get the different, you get the different kind of cool stuff. Like you get like cool visions, you get really good sensations flowing through the body. And that's the reward for loving. It's like when you're loving, you're loved. You're always loved, but you can feel the love. You can receive it. So it's kind of like you're like you could be like a receptacle of love. Where you just open up to receive love. And it shows what's already true about you. It gives you that visceral experience of what's actually true about you. Any time of day, all day long, there's always those cues. Now, Elle says you can always change your perception. The gut feeling is usually right, but our mind follows our domesticated thoughts, hence the fears of our parent, society, etc. Not truly the I am feeling. Yeah, I like how you say that about the gut. I would say that the feeling comes from the heart for me. But maybe the gut is more like, something that, I don't know. But maybe it's the same thing
Talk
for you.
about breathing from the gut.
Yeah, you go when your energy can flow and the body's energy is allowed to flow. Because here's the thing, in these different areas, there's contraction going on, and that contraction is symbolic of a contraction in the mind. So when you watch in the energy, like where the breath is flowing in and out, you'll see that there's certain places where it's constantly changing from moment to moment. That's why it's a constant, like, I'm not talking about like physical stuff. I'm talking about like more energetic, like how things are flowing, moving. And when you're watching how that's working, you see how you seize up. You hold things tight. And especially, like if you see like how they're contracting, the places that are contracting in the body, and the body is symbolic of the mind. It doesn't make it like it's a bad thing that it's contracting or anything. But when you're watching it with your attention on it, it shows you how you can relax that area more. And it's like the relaxation is just done for you. You see what I mean? You see what I mean, Lori? Can you sense that?
All of this is going on, and the whole time I'm having this upset feeling because I guess I think I felt like when you were saying that you only had so much time and I feel like I did something wrong when I brought up Alan Cohen. And
It's not like that at all, because whatever you say or do, that comes from me. So it's just really playful for me. I don't mind.
But I'm saying you're talking about whenever you get an upset feeling. I was trying to, because you were explaining what I need not to do, but to get through it, to see it. And I don't know, there's something.
And you didn't want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
See, so there's a really good example right there. That's the willingness. That's where the willingness is. That's where the willingness is. See, it's like there is a habit of getting a feeling like you're doing something wrong. So you
Yeah.
hear someone say something, and basically, in this situation, you hear someone saying what their boundaries are, and automatically it's like you did something wrong.
Right. Automatically. Yes.
Yeah.
Just like last week with the black boys, and I wouldn't give them any money. I felt like I was doing something wrong.
Right. You're never doing something wrong. That's the thing. So, and look at how there's that unwillingness to allow yourself to get the deep breath. Do you notice how the breathing is? Did you pay attention? You may not have. Did you pay attention?
I was forcing myself to breathe deep, making myself breathe deep, because I could feel the contraction and I wanted the upset to go, because Bob said, when you resist, it persists. And so I was just breathing, bringing it right down to my belly, and I could see the thoughts just going. And should I bring it up? Should I just? And then you said you had this weird sensation come over. I'm like, uh-oh, does she know?
You're so fun.
So
you're so awesome, Lori.
I don't know.
You know what? I'm the perfect one for that to come up with. It's perfect. And it's the whole reason why that whole conversation started arising and everything, is just to get that kind of feeling sensation, that kind of opportunity. The same thing for me. It's just like to get that kind of opportunity. It's like how do you see this? It's all like that. We're all helping each other. We're all showing each other. It's always like it's always like it's like, hi, I'm here to trigger you. Nice to meet you. This is how it goes.
It goes right back to when my mom, when I was little, it was always, and my dad too, I did something wrong. And years ago, I saw clearly that if I can do something wrong, so can the others. And I can't do anything wrong, so nobody else can either. Yeah. I saw that deeply a long time ago. And here I am 2 weeks in a row, completely going into resistance and feeling like I did something wrong.
Well, that's great. That's great. See, it's like I'll always come back to, where's the gratitude? Where's the gratitude? If I'm not on that feeling side that feels good, I'm feeling something I don't want, has to be a habit of mine.
Yes.
Definitely. Has to be a habit of mine. So in the habit, it's like a habit of not getting what you want, and being made to feel guilty. You're not getting what you want because you're not feeling joy.
Right.
That's the thing. Right. That's why you're not getting what you want. And so it's always going to manifest scenarios for you to have it play out. That's how it goes. There's always going to manifest scenarios.
So I can see through it. There's been plenty lately, boy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, Lori.
Thank you for bringing it on. Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it on.
Well, it's beautiful when you do.
And it's awesome.
It's a contribution for everybody.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what Niall is saying. What I do is celebrate the emotion, trick your mind into thinking nothing is wrong. You just constantly transcend from joy to joy. I pause and ask myself, why am I feeling this? I usually get a clear kind of answer. How nice. Perfect. I like the part about celebrating and also asking why I'm feeling like this and getting a clear answer. Yeah, if you're open to the clear answer, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's really alarming. It's like, whoa, why am I feeling like this? It's not because of what you perceive. It's not because of what you have had a perception of. You know, I happen to have a preference in my dream for wisdom dialogues to be very wisdom dialogue-y. That's all. Maybe I have a preference for that more than others. It doesn't make me
Then
wrong.
what happened was part of, but nothing happened.
Yes, but nothing happened. But do you see what I mean too? Is like as far as like the preferences and boundaries that arise, they can just play out where there's an allowance for it. There's just an allowance for it, and in the allowance for it, you're just watching that there's no kind of defilement or upset feeling or anger at anyone, you know, and then it's just allowed. Whatever needs to be expressed can be expressed.
And it hit the little girl doing something wrong, which is all ego.
Yes, it's like now I'm excuse me. It's like now I'm in this dance with you. And I'm projecting a part in it as well. Now it's like we're dancing the energy together. We're sharing an experience. And it's all for healing. Lori, you are such a beautiful soul. Thank you. I am working on this for myself too. Yay.
Aww.
I am too, Lori. That's why I thanked you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
That was,
Go ahead, Jared.
that was just, I was feeling a beautiful vibration for the last, I'd say 10 minutes. It felt like just right in the groove, and it was, delicious. Just so delicious.
Yeah, Hope just had like a shudder of
Yeah, I had that.
go
That
through
was
her.
great. Wow. Thanks, Lori. You're awesome.
Well, where's my shutter?
Where's your
just be open to it.
Yes, just be really open to it, Lori. Just be really, really open to it. It's always showing you.
Just feel more deeply. Allow, instead of thinking about it, feel.
Yeah.
It's there. And breathe into it and expand the consciousness of it. And it is there.
Yay.
Yeah, it's not about the words. The words are just carrying some sort of, the words are just going on, but the feeling is like at a different level than the words.
Yeah.
The words are carrying it, but it's not the words.
And if you allow it, the feeling is so fun. It's so much fun. It's so much playfulness. You know, it's just like, it's just like, you know, you told about the guy that told you about being on the phone and stuff like that. And you're just totally okay with it in that moment. You know, it's like, there's some things that you might tend to feel like are more personal than others, and that's okay too. You know, like feeling like you take it more personal.
Because I didn't know him, I think.
Yeah, and then you know, even if the person is really pissed at you and rude to you and like you fucking, you know, whatever,
he was.
You're just like, hey, no problem, you know. But when there's some kind of like a personal hook, like there's an idea about how you should be,
Right.
you know, there's like a personal hook in there that gives you your special purpose within that. You know, your special purpose is always within the moment, whatever it is that you're taking an offense to, let's say.
Like you were saying in the beginning of this, is have you ever been mean to somebody on a no way, I wouldn't even dare. So that's the same energy as what played out here, is that I dared to bring up Alan Cohen.
Really?
Took off.
You dared to.
I dared to. Like, well, I'd see. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I mean, I had no idea it was going to take off like that. But
No, there's no doing anything wrong. That's the thing. So, you know, when you say I had no idea I was doing anything wrong, it's like there is doing something wrong now. See?
yeah,
You see what I mean? When
yes,
you say I had no idea,
it's
and
still
that's not-
being held.
it's still held in your body's energy field.
I can, yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Or the mind.
How's your breathing? Look at your breathing.
Yeah, I've been making myself breathe deep ever since we.
Well, how about instead of making yourself breathe deep, just look at it, just watch it.
Mm.
What's it doing? How does it feel? And you know, if you're noticing that you don't like how you feel, you'll stop trying to figure it out, because I could tell by the way your eyes look right now that you're trying to figure something out. So, you know, if you stop trying to figure something out, that feeling, that contracting feeling, is going to release too. You know how you feel like something's there, that's from trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So trying to make sense of it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense that I have a preference for wisdom dialogues being wisdom dialogue-y. It makes no sense. It's not right or wrong. It's not the right way to do it. And do I have a preference for talking about stuff that's wisdom dialogues? Yes. Okay, that's their preference. That's their thing. And just let them have their thing, whatever it is.
Mm.
And then Lori might say, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to be coming on Wisdom Dialogues very much because I like the chit chat. That could be the case. You know, it's just an open thing. It's just an open flowing thing.
Mm.
See? Well, it's all love. It's all joy. It's all fun. And, you know, nothing anyone ever does is right or wrong. There's different, you know, and that's a thing for people too. It's like in setting a boundary, people are afraid of someone going to get upset about it. And, you know, and also that just has to be okay with you. Otherwise, you're not going to be moved to set the boundary. And instead, you know what you're going to do? You're going to feel victimized by that person. And they don't need that. Geez, wow. You know, it gets the end of wisdom dialogue, and I'm going, wow, fuck. You know, it'd be really nice if people would be like more wisdom dialogue-y on wisdom dialogues. Gosh, why don't I set any boundaries? You know, you see what I mean? It's like if there's just going with if they're just going with joy, there's willingness to accept whatever it is, and there's willingness to accept. Oh, that might be taken in a way where someone feels offended. Okay too, you know, or someone feels hurt, or someone feels like they're guilty or something like that. Okay to that too. People need their dance. People are going to be projecting as they need to project and making things into a certain way. And also those people are our projections. So when there's a perception, like for me, of a person who was feeling guilty because of something that I expressed, I know that's also coming from my body's energy field, and I feel it too. and it's fun. So it's like when you're giving me an expression like that, you're expressing to me that you felt like you were guilty of something. I can feel that too. And it's fun. Because our mind is not separate.
Right.
Our mind is not separate.
Right.
So we heal through that. And it's like, I can't do anything to you and you can't do anything to me, but we come together in a dance for healing. See? So it's not like, oh, that Lori, you know, she's just over there doing her feeling guilty thing, right? Because Lori doing her feeling guilty thing is actually arising within me, and I could feel it too.
So you
And it's fun. That's
projected me to do that.
Yes. So thank you for playing. I made you do it. That's why. You know, you guys could have said, I know at one point I said, what was it? What was it? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because you're making us.
No shit, right?
See?
Because we're meant to learn from it. We don't make mistakes. We just have learning. That's how we're getting in depth with this.
Yeah. You see that?
Wow.
You see kind of past the things that you seem to be doing. You see kind of like through the things you seem to be doing and see the greater teaching that evolves through everything that you seem to do.
That's all for enlightenment.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
And then are you clear that you don't have to take on anything that anyone thinks you did, or because all that is you're projecting it to whatever anyone thinks you did. See, just so you can get a feeling like you did something wrong. Oh, I can't let go of this feeling like I did something wrong. When you see through what it seems like you did, it seems like someone else even thinks you did,
Right.
Because that's a made up story. To me, I don't have the perception like that, like as if let's say you were doing something wrong. It's like, oh yay, boundaries are coming. It's fun. It's play. See, so when you share with me that you have that perception, I sense that definitely. And it's perfect for me. It's perfect for me that I perceive you having that perception.
So confused.
Okay, here, let's write it down.
It's so much mind stuff. Do you see what I'm saying?
What is?
My perception, your perception.
That's all it is. It's all mind.
Did you hear that?
What?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there.
If it's fun and funny, go for it.
He says, why would you waste your time? So obviously I'm thinking that. because it came out of him.
It's a thought. It's not like I'm thinking that like it's personal. And see the way that you ask it, you take on a certain tone.
Yes.
Even in the way that you ask that, you take on a certain tone.
Because it's more mind. It's like I'm analyzing every little.
There's nothing to analyze though.
That's not analyzing?
Yeah, there's nothing there to analyze. It's just that when you hear something, that's a thought that occurs to you. That's it. It's really simple. Whatever mouth that comes out of it's just a thought that occurs to you. It doesn't mean anything about you.
Now that thought that he said, wasting time, that thought was not, I didn't think that thought.
Well, that is the same. What I'm saying is that is the same thing as if it crossed your mind or it came out of his mouth. It's the same thing. It's one projection. There's not only one projection. It includes the thoughts and words coming out of other people's mouth are also thoughts. The bodies are also thoughts. The whole perception is made of thought.
Because nothing's happening. Nothing happened.
That's right. And that's the last thing that the ego wants you to see. That's the last thing that the ego wants you to see.
But it feels like a relief when I realize that nothing's happened.
And that's what you deserve. You deserve relief in all situations. You always deserve relief. And here's the way the ego, through the ego guidance, you'll find yourself living your life, not allowing the relief for yourself. And so that's why, it seems like, wow, things seem really difficult, at times where someone says something to me and I just like have to have a big reaction to it. It's just like, it's just of the ego to make it like something's wrong. It's the same exact thing as a thought. When you see that it's the same thing as a thought crossing your mind, it's a nothing. It's a no thing. It's a nothing.
So what got me through a while back was it's okay. But I'm seeing that if I can get to nothing happened, that I can feel
it's always going to change.
What?
Like as far as what it is that does it for you.
Oh yeah, because it's okay. Yeah, it didn't even. Yeah.
Maybe the problem is with personalization.
Yeah, definitely. It was personal. Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, instead of it being impersonal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, Nael is coming. Nael is coming on.
He says, it's perfect for me that I'm. Who said that? Oh, it's perfect for me that I'm perceiving you, perceiving me like that. Oh.
Hi.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
It's so beautiful and so raw and so organic. It's awesome.
It just goes the way it goes. Isn't it awesome? And we end up having some good wisdom dialogues here.
It's wonderful.
Alan Cohen was brought up.
I don't even know who that dude is, but you know what? I'll look him up after Wisdom Dialogues, I promise.
My wife went to look him up.
We'll have to send him a thank you card for
Yeah.
He's here for us.
It's a big part of our wisdom dialogue.
Yeah. I was thinking about yesterday. I was so happy. We were going to our son's celebration. He was doing the 420 party at my son's house. And I was like, oh, cool. We're going to go to our kid's house and hang out with them. And I was super happy. And when I was driving outside, I told my wife, that guy's there every day. in his car, and I just went to this other place where, like, should I pull over? Should I find out who that person is? And just like completely like lost my joy for that moment because of the thought pattern. And it was so it was infectious, if you want, or contagious, that my wife too was like, we were laughing and we're super happy, and then suddenly she was like, oh, should you stop? Should you listen? Should you do? And then I paused before I kept on driving, and I asked myself this question, which was beautiful. I said, where is this thought coming from? Like, where where's the real thought coming from? And I paused, and I realized that the thought wasn't a true thought. It was just a learned fear thought that I had developed that I use whenever I see a threat. But it's not real, you see, because there could have been, I asked myself, and I told my wife, because now that I had infected or tried to share my fear with my wife, now I had to share with her other possibilities. Well, maybe he's an Uber driver and this is the place where he parks. Maybe this is, you know, and then I told her, you know what? This is something that I do consecutively, so it's not real. It's just something that I used to do. Now, what were we laughing about? What were we talking about again? And I had to interrupt that thought pattern, but I did have to ask myself, because I have to recognize my child self and love my child self, my inner child, or my inner heart. You know, I loved how you said the heart, because those feelings, you know, that Lori was sharing are important, and they are special, and they are, you know, she matters. That emotion that she feels matters. It's not something that you should just be, you know, get over it. No, ask yourself, you know, what do I need? What feeling do I need to know that it's okay for me to have fun again? And when you ask yourself, at least for me, that's what I'm doing. And when I ask myself that question, I recognize, oh, it wasn't real, the thought. It was just something that got in the way. It was just the interruption of my fun. But it's not real. And I can love myself again and go back to that fun. Because I had a lot of those patterns as a child, you know, being beaten for speaking my mind, you know, or for just, you know, washed your mouth out with soap because you had an opinion, you know. So even now it's like, you know, you have those feelings, you know. Even I want to be as raw, as honest, raising my hand, you know. What if Hope didn't, you know, I should just raise my hand back down. Now what do I have to say, right? So it's constantly these thoughts of being mean to ourselves, and this happens throughout our relationships, our work, our parents. These are just opportunities for us. I see them as celebration opportunities for me now at this point where I'm at, right? I'm not saying it's easy, but for me it's like, oh yay, I can learn how to not be pissed off at my wife when I want to be pissed off, you know. So this is an opportunity. I get to ask myself, what is really the emotion? Where is it coming from? And then I can send love there and interrupt it. So I just want to say, like, you know, you're awesome, Lori. And when I saw you, you know, that's me. That's me at times. And I want to be as honest as I can. I've gotten to the point where I've just walked for miles, upset, without talking to anybody, and just like in a trance, because my mind is telling me people are against me. I need to be angry. I need to have my guard up because I can't let them hurt my inner child, and it's all a thought, you see. And I have these barriers that I had to use to protect myself. But now I love myself so much, even every day, I'm like, I stop and pause and say, nobody can hurt me. Nobody can hurt me. So I'm okay, because I'm nobody, not even my wife at this point, after 25 years, I'm like, whatever she says doesn't matter to me, and yes, it can bother me, but I still like, ultimately I'm in my own journey myself, and I'm able to love myself and ask myself, why am I feeling that way? So anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I'm in that journey, and I can celebrate anything that I say, even if it doesn't gel, because you matter, because your opinion matters.
You're so
Thank
sweet.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a
That
love.
celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely celebrating the upset feelings.
Mhm.
That's what I notice is like when there's an upset feeling, it's like hooray. It's not like it's not like it's only hard as you're resisting it, but when there's not resistance to it, it's not hard at all.
Mm.
And the only resistance is wanting to keep up the story,
Mm.
wanting to keep up this story. And you know what?
Victim story.
Yes, and since nothing happened too, it's like
That
everyone would have a different story, and it's just like whatever story serves.
that's a big
Yeah.
one. Nothing happened. That's
And more than a victim story, because I think personally, I don't think, I think for me at least, I'm very cautious. Like, I don't want to see myself as I'm doing anything wrong, even if that's a victim story. I see myself as like, I see it as a, what do I need? Ask yourself that question versus forget that this is a victim story, because even then you're putting yourself down. You're saying, oh, I'm acting like a victim here, or I need to shift something in my mind. No, what are you asking? What is your heart asking you right now? And it might be just hugging yourself right now. It might just be telling yourself, I love you. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to have a voice, and just release that any connotation that is going to make you feel lesser than, even the thought principle of this is a victim story or this is the wrong thing to do. No, any emotion's okay. What do I need right now? And this is just my perception. This is what's working for me right now, right?
Mm.
So
That's
that's why.
awesome. I feel it.
thank
Very
you.
nice. Yeah, that's very nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a beautiful smile, Niall. That's just beautiful.
This
We
whole
got to be nicer to ourselves. We got to be so nice to ourselves. I feel like we're so harsh when
Mm.
things, when people don't agree with us or people we love and admire. I hang out with some of my super smart friends, and at times I'm just like, dude, I'm super dumb. I don't know what. And then I catch myself. I'm like, hey, why am I being so mean to myself? Where did that come from? And I'm just like, nah, I'm not. I'm gonna be nice to myself.
Well, they say the highest wisdom is just non-judgment.
Yeah, and it starts with us.
Yep.
First us, no judgment to us, right?
That's
right.
Universal self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's-
and at the same time, with regard to the victim story, it is a victim story if it's a victim story. So let's not pretend like it's not a victim story. It's just that no one's guilty of having a victim story. No one's guilty of it. But let's not pretend that there's not a guilty story playing out when there is. And anytime you're upset, that's what's going on. And it's just like, but that is the thing. I love what you're bringing here, Niall, because that is the thing. When people hear what I'm saying, a lot of the times it's taken as if you're doing it wrong. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It just is what it is. It is what it is. So
Mhm.
that's the ego strategy. Because if you think you're doing something wrong, you're not going to look at it. And you're certainly not going to see through it. You can't see through it while you think you're doing something wrong. You have to be willing to surrender that thought.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I wasn't willing, I guess. I was not willing. No.
Well, just for those moments, there was a, kind of like one of those storms going on,
Yes.
spinning, spinning, spinning.
Spinning like that song. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's why I got that shudder.
Yeah, I think so too. I felt that when you said it. I'm like,
I
uh-oh.
was like, whoa, it's like something's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Well, as soon as you said that, I'm like,
It's not fun. It's a ride, right?
wow.
It's a total ride.
Well, that's why we don't want to trust our mind too much, because it's connecting to that feeling is connecting to something that we might have been hurt in the past, or it could be our brain is connecting to something. That's why I try to tell people, get out of your mind and go to your heart. What is your heart telling you? The heart's not, or the gut, right? That's where the real, there's you could feel it. You can feel, a lot of people say don't feel. And for me, it's like, what does it feel? And when you get out of your mind, you can't trust your mind all the time, because it's going by synapses and connections that could be triggers from past experiences. By you were having fun and somebody got you in trouble, and you got to stand up for yourself. Right. Yeah. So.
It's all just the past playing out. It's not, presently there's only love. And presently there's only love, Lori, even when your husband is walking by and saying, why are you wasting your time? Presently there's only love, So it's like, whatever you're interpreting, your brain interpretation of him is looking like, that's just to show you, to prove to you, like you, as if you are separate. And when you're willing to see him as only love, you're going to be able to play with that even more. See, when you're upset, and here's another thing just to notice, not like anything's wrong at all. When you're feeling upset and you're kind of like projecting something, it's kind of like you're calling energies from other people to corroborate with that kind of energy. It's almost like you're open to it. You're opening the door to it. See? Because there's a sense like as if when you get it, you're going to be projecting him differently. But it's not like that. It's more like when you're seeing it clearly, you really don't mind. It's fun for you. You know why? Because the relationship is like this. It could go poof any moment. It's not. This thing is just passing. This thing is just passing. It's a passing phase. And it's like anything anyone says to you, it's like, oh, thank you. It's like, there could be anything. There's all kinds of different scenarios and stories, but don't take for granted that bodies are together, like living in the same house and stuff like that. Anything can change in a second, and it's like anything they say, it's like, oh, thank you. It's different, and this is how it is in a like a marital type situation. If you feel like you're stuck with the person, for instance, anything they say to you is going to be more like digging on you. If you feel like you are, then anything that they say, it's like, oh, wow, interesting. And when you're always paying attention to your guidance and going with your bliss, you'll see how these things that arise in the circumstance of the life, it's like, oh, yay, I'm so glad you said that, and really like get the feeling, and find your way to even more joy. Allow yourself to be led toward even more joy, and then that's what you have to share with your partner. But when you're in the same house as your partner and you're feeling like a guilty child right? And you're watching the thought patterns play out and you're feeling like a guilty child, you're going to get more kind of like more action around that same thing.
Yeah.
See, it's almost like opening your energy field, kind of like inviting that kind of energy in, like.
Mm.
And it's interesting to watch because the whole thing changes at a point. The whole thing changes, and he'll see you differently. Kai Molino says, "There is no fault and there is no blame. Forgiveness is but the way to end this game. There is no sin and there is no shame." Thank you for that.
Mm.
Thank you for that. So we have Yulia now.
Oh. I haven't even seen her on the chat.
No, she didn't do chat, but she's been on as an attendee. And we're almost off. We got like 5 minutes with Yulia.
Oh
Yay!
my God! Yes, I'm always like jumping in at the last minute. Hi everyone.
Hi, Julia.
Hi.
What a breath of fresh air.
I know. Had an episode recently where it seems like everything I learned, everything I know was just gone out the window. Or basically I knew it, but that didn't matter. I was all in my experience, and it was all pain. It was all anger and like screaming and all.
Okay.
It was like, wow, I can still do that.
How'd you like it?
It's like, how did I like it? I don't know, because now I can't tell if I liked it or not. Like you could say like it was bad, then it was good after that, because it ended the way in a way I think was fine, good. So now looking back at it, it doesn't seem bad. Because whenever you bring up something that apparently happened, it's a different thing every time, depending on how you're looking at it. So it doesn't look bad now.
Good.
Yes, I love it. Perfect.
Yeah, but I am having a totally new situation, and you were just talking about relationships and all that, and I just like suddenly had this little thing like, ooh, scared, that kind of thing. Because I've had so many that began and ended in my life, and some of them like didn't end in a good way, and sometimes either I wanted out or I didn't want it to end, and then I wanted out. It was like, but every time there was that feeling like it didn't work, like it's like not good again, and it's like all over, back to the same or something, same energy, I would say. So I had a moment of like that fear and this relationship that I'm having, and I've also had an experience of almost inviting it in because I saw something that seemed to be a threat to it. And I find this, it's like difficult to translate this into words, but the energy of like, okay, bring it on and make it even worse, something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Not directly to someone, but that kind of feeling.
Fun.
It's just, I don't know if it's some kind of mechanism of like, like, fine, like, let's make it bad. As some kind of protection mechanism, I don't know what. Anyway, I had like, it came out of like somewhere I totally didn't expect. Some of you have heard the story that I have this boyfriend, Puerto Rican, and his mom was with us for some months.
Oh, she's not there anymore.
She's still here, but not living in my house.
Okay.
He decided she'll stay here for like almost a year because like there was first the earthquake, then she had medical problems. So he got her an apartment and she's living in an apartment. But there's always issues with her, and he's very, very protective of her, Latin mom. Apparently that's a big deal over there. And so there's this episode, again, there were like different episodes, but then there's this episode where somebody knocks at her door at 4 a.m. and she freaks out and calls him at night, and just like kind of like when the earthquake happens, crying and panic and shaking. Well, basically, he's been sleeping with her practically like at her place ever since, because he can't believe her, and she like gets too panicky if he does. And that's like been causing so many issues. And and then on the other hand, I have my mother who was like making these predictions from the beginning. You'll see, she just wants to be for her son to be with him. She's gonna do anything possible to get her to be with him. And now, like, oh shit, she was right. And I found myself like, maybe I wouldn't have been even so upset about it, but having my mom add this on, this old thing, my mom making bad predictions, apparently I still have something that buys into it. I do know that if something triggers me, that's because I believe it. It's not because I don't think it's bullshit, because if I didn't believe it, if it wasn't my issue, I wouldn't even notice it. Somebody says something, whatever, I forget it, right? But if it's something that resonates with something in me, some fear, then I'm gonna jump. So there's that going on from all sides, and I've went completely. There are like more situations that were happening, and then there was like a situation. Oh, like, can I come over and she can sleep here? And I had some really bad day, and I wasn't feeling good, and I said something, and that turned into like not even a fight. I can't even call it a fight, but it became like a big emotional thing.
Yeah, some kind of upset energy.
Yeah, it snowballed into other things, and me getting angry at my mom and everybody getting really crazy, and then everything settling down. But she's still gonna sleep there, but I'm like now like really fine with it.
Nice.
I mean, I still get that feeling coming up, but I also listen to this other thing I sometimes listen to. That's in Russian. It's basically a book, but it talks about pendulums, like energy pendulums, that describing things as pendulums that like draw you in, drag you in, these energetic informational pendulums. So it's like every time you feel like you really don't want something or it gets you, that's like an invitation by a pendulum to sort of jump on it and start swinging.
Right.
Outcome of it is just nothing, but it takes your energy, basically. That's how they describe it there. And somehow I really got it from that. Like,
Good.
every minute, every time I go like, ooh, I really don't like it, I really don't want it, and I don't know how it's gonna turn out. And like my other protection thing, like, oh, fine, I'm just gonna like be like, bye-bye, whatever. That's just the flip side of that pendulum,
Yeah.
So that really helped,
Yay.
But wow, yeah, it is incredible how like you think you got it, and then you don't.
Yeah. It's fun. It's
You
fun.
get so
But-
desperate too.
Yeah. At some point, because you are so fun, it's all going to be so much fun for you. And it's not going to matter what it is that arises. It's all going to be so much fun for you. And that's something that you can accept for yourself right now, anytime. That's really when it happens, is in the moment where you feel triggered, and that's where the willingness really has to kick in for anything to change.
I know, and I'm like also noticing, wait a minute, I am like enjoying this alone time at night, because I'm doing things I wouldn't normally do if he was here.
Great. How wonderful. It is, and it can be totally like that. If you're not making up these attachments to people, like thinking that you need them for your well-being or anything like that, then anything they say and anything they do, and if they're leaving or anything, it's fun and funny.
I know, but I was really scared of the breakup, and like also thinking like, well, maybe I should break up because of like whatever thoughts. So I was like, again, flipping back and forth. And that's an old thing that happened to me before, these fears, like, oh my God, it's going to end. Or maybe it should end. Like, or it's going to get worse,
All right, everyone. We made it to 5:04.
It's the
Woohoo!
end.
Wow.
It's the end of the show. Yay.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Hope.
you. Oh my God.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for sharing. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Lori. You were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Mary. Oh, you guys are awesome.
Much love to everybody.
Yay. So if you want to
Yeah.
come, to my website, hopejohnson.org. Also, I'm here every Tuesday at 3, Wisdom Dialogues online. You can get the link from hopejohnson.org. You can get my book there, Unschooling for Parents. You can also get essential oils at Miracle Botanicals. We have the
And
best
disinfecting sprays,
Oh,
right?
we got those sprays now. We got
I
the
noticed that.
yeah, we made sprays and we have disinfect spray. It has our disinfect blend essential oil. So you can like spray it around. And then there's also our premium protection, which is a lot like Thieves. It uses the same oils in that. We're just not allowed to call it that because it's a trademarked, I think the word is, by Young Living. But yeah, it's a lot like Thieves. So if that's the name you know it by, and that's also in a spray now. Isn't that fun?
Cool.
Yay.
Miracle.com.
Awesome. Love sprays.
We have lots of sprays. We have hydrosol.
Ready made to use. Like that.
I was just spraying Hawaiian sandalwood hydrosol yesterday, and it was smelling like caramel. So good.
Yum.
Mm.
So hooray, everyone. I love you. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Thank you.
Love everyone. Love you, Hope. Thank you so much.
Oh, appreciate you all.
Thank
Yay.
you.